Kelley Ford, K Ford Ratings, on your radio on a Tuesday. Kelley, welcome in, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jake. How are you today?
We're good. We're just chalking through these numbers. A lot of NFL in hour one. I want to get to some college basketball with you, maybe a college football question by the end of the show, end of your two segments here. I appreciate you as always. Let me ask you this. I was going through a piece on college basketball, and it was it's basically, you may have read it, from Dan Wetzel, Yahoo Sports, talking about, March Madness TV ratings tell the story. The tournament is perfect as it is. A lot of the back and forth, as you well know, national story on expansion and this, that, and other with the tournament. I fully expect this thing to expand just because of monetary value on the television contracts. But is it perfect in your mind? Does it need expansion, and is it warranted?
I agree with you, Jake, that I believe it will expand as well because more games means more money. And as we've seen in college football and really any business venture, which that's what this is, more revenue is good for those that run it. So I do think it will expand. I wouldn't say it's perfect right now, Jake. Dayton does a good job hosting the first four, but ideally, if we're going to change the number, I think going back to 64, and I know we've had 65 for even years before we were at 68, I think 64 is just a nice, clean bracket. Everybody loves that Thursday and Friday. Didn't have nearly as many upsets this year as we've seen in years past. When you look at the Sweet 16, you've only got three teams that are somewhat unexpected. If you want to say NC State, Clemson, and then maybe San Diego State. I think a lot of people probably had Gonzaga beating Kansas, even though they are a 5 seed. So I think it is certainly better now than it would be if it were to expand. I love the upsets, and I love the storylines and all that. I don't think expansion is going to get the types of teams in the tournament that are going to be able to provide that. If you expand this thing, you're looking at letting in some of these Big East bubble teams that missed it, St. John's, Providence, some of these ACC schools that missed it, Pittsburgh. These aren't Cinderella teams. These are teams that finished 500 or worse in their conferences, the big conferences, and those are the teams that you're going to be putting in here. What does that do then to the format of the first round? Do you move automatic qualifiers from lower conferences, mid-majors, such as Oakland, out of the Horizon League, who upsets Kentucky? Do they now have to play their way into the round of 64? If so, that makes it harder for them to advance and to have that upset moment. You could say the signature upsets so far of this tournament are Oakland over Kentucky and probably Yale over Auburn. Those two teams, do they have to now play their way into the round of 64 if we expand? I would hate to see that. I certainly do not want to see expansion, but like you, would not be surprised at all if it happens.